Hey guys, I never give the shade garden enough attention. So this morning we're going to walk through the shade garden because it's looking so nice. I can't believe it's almost the middle of August and things are changing. I mean, you can see the Caryopteris here is in bloom. This is a wonderful late summer, clear into frost plant. I'm so thankful it wasn't a buddleia that we thought we got. I like the mistakes that happen. But let's go on down to the shade garden. It's nice early morning. We've had lots of rain and everything just looks so lush. And I was out the other day just doing we're all working on cleaning up the summer gardens. And I thought, you know what? Let's start here. This is a sunny corner of our shade garden. And in the spring, I did a video on, shopping your own garden. And I wanted something that worked here. My lavender didn't work here. And I put in three
Yeah, I
little
remember.
pieces
Yeah,
of the
the lamb's
Stachys
ear.
byzantina or lamb's ear. And isn't this just a beautiful border, particularly when you look at across this time of year? I like to see some blues. Oh, my morning glory vines in bloom. Shoot, I meant to say I'm not looking at the sunny border, but when you see your morning glories in bloom on that pergola this time of year, it's doing what I hoped, accenting that wonderful part of the garden, drawing your eye up so that you look at the tall plants and you don't notice the plants that have already been, cut back for the season. But as we start here, I just love being able to see the weeds in amongst early in the morning. But
Is that a weed?
yeah. And the other thing I'm going to love, I planted some of these bubblegum alliums, and I'm in this little sunny part of the shade border. And this time of year, look at the purples and the blue hues that are going to pick up and brighten this area, which I love my junipers. I love that spire shape. There's a little bit of browning, from the summer, and I can go through and shake that out. But I love its shape and the colors of now I love the blue and the little more yellowy green and then the blues here. And any heuchera you put, those sun and shade heucheras add so much color. And this is Rosanita, I believe. This isn't Dolce Wildberry. It's similar but not the same. The boxwoods have done beautiful. I will not give them a prune back this late in the season. I did them in June. But aren't they lovely? And they're several years old. They've loved all the rain we've gotten this spring. The other thing that is doing what I hoped, you can now see in this lovely pot. The pot itself is just magnificent. Thank you, Jennifer. I love it in this part of the garden to give me this focal point this time of year. You can start to see the coleus back here, giving me that deep maroon purple color. This sweet potato vine, even though it has a little bug holes, I still love it with these ferns. And you all know that these pots, the ferns, the painted fern, and the variegated green and white fern all get planted back in the ground. And Reg, when you come around here, because I'm going to
I
get
can't come
behind.
around there. Mozart's in the way.
Hi, Mozart. Well, while you're down there, let's take a look. Also, this year I shopped the garden and I divided my variegated liriope, and you would never know they were touched, but isn't the variegation beautiful in the front border, picking up on the High Hopes heuchera. I love the chartreuse green. It's beautiful. There's Rose Granita in the front border, High Hopes, and then my Patriot hostas, which look gorgeous. They're getting taken over by some painted ferns, but I don't care. They look so nice. The maiden fern gets to show beautiful in this light. I love its leaf structure. I'm going to pick a piece. Look at that. Isn't that just a lovely, lovely, airy leaf? This would be nice on the cyanotype too.
Yeah, if you had
If I
cyanotype.
had cyanotype paper, I know I'm
What's
out.
the uh down back there in the back starting to bud up and bloom?
Oh, this is my
Is
Jackmanii
that
clematis, and I love how it keeps blooming all season. I've got some new buds. That purple will show up against the fence very nicely. What I'm hoping that was in bloom back here are my anemones. This is that beautiful white anemone ready to pop. And this is its second or third year. And you can see it's not really invasive, but I wanted it to sprawl just a little for this time of year because against that black fence, when those blooms are in season, and I'll get a picture on the screen, they're gorgeous. The other thing I have back here, and I never have made tea from it, and Red, you probably don't even think about it, is this lemon balm.
I can't
And
even get back there, honey.
I know.
There we go.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
The lemon balm's in bloom. And, you know, I think when I come back here and I break it open, it's supposed to calm your nerves and make you think better. If I would drink a tea of it, maybe it'd be even more helpful. But it does smell good. I do cut it for bouquets along with my mints and other things to add to it. But another plant that probably I seldom talk about is my arborvitae fern. Let me get back in here. Or my Selaguinella braunii. Isn't this a lovely, lovely fern? And slow growing, it stays compact.
It
But again,
almost looks pine-like or
I know, that's
cedar
why they
or
call it arborvitae. It looks
yeah.
like a pine. And isn't it lovely? I've had this for a couple years. I like its lacy leaves. Again, this might be nice too, Reg. Reg
For
is
a
on a
little
little bit of a kick to do some cyanotype.
yeah, that would
That
look good.
color is lovely,
Mhm.
but the leaf itself is very detailed. And it doesn't get enough time to shine because I don't take the time. I get so preoccupied in the summer in my summer border or sunny border that I neglect to get back in here and show all the detailed plants I do have. It's so carefree. It's definitely, you know, a few little weeds every now and then here. This tree is awesome. But this time of year, when things are beginning to wane a little bit, I like looking at all how beautiful just greens can be, let alone, you know, the roses are having their second flush. Um, and that is Zephyr and Druin. I need to get in and do some pruning, and I'm going to do some late summer pruning on all my climbing roses and other roses. The other thing that's coming up too, I don't want to break off any of the pretty blooms of the astilbes while they're showing color. Is I love it. This is Verbena bonariensis, and I did put some of this in my compost, and I did it on purpose. I wanted it to seed itself wherever it wants to because it has such a nice vertical interest, and it stays vertical. It doesn't flop. It's beautiful in color, particularly against this really pink rose. If we hadn't had so much rain, the roses were so pretty. We'll get another flush out. And of course, the ferns, you can't beat them. You know, you can see how large my painted fern in this area has gotten. And look how nice it is against the pink astilbes when they're in true color. We know that this is just one of my little hacks. The ostrich ferns that are getting a little more sun, they're waning. It's that time of year. Oh, I'm going to step on my heuchera. You can't beat a border of the hostas and the ferns together. And then the Solomon seal, another great variegation for a shade border. And what you see here, this ground cover in here, the mat of green, that's that white violet, which I have told you, here it is, August. It keeps
It's
its
everywhere.
vibrant color. It is a wonderful ground cover, prevents weeds, keeps us very moist, which these plants all love that. And occasionally you'll get another white bloom. I wish some of that was in bloom right now, but it isn't. This spot here, that's a spot of something blue. It'll be a blue evergreen of some sort when I find it. I'm preparing for the loss of the big tree. It hasn't happened yet, but it'll be right in that spot. There's some Patriot hostas in there that I need to move. You can't see them from here. This whole, and I like how I repeat the border. You can see that. Oh, I missed. You can see this is the redbud, eastern redbud that I planted this spring. First year here. A little bit of, you know, bug here and there, but it's its first year. It did really well. I know it's. I forget how old it was when Barbara and I planted it. She told me. I'll have to talk to her again. But it's done very well back here. The other part of the shade border, I think has made such a difference is when I took out hostas here and started adding some other shade loving, beautiful plants, which like the limelight, excuse me, the twist of lime heuchera. Isn't this wonderful in here?
Mo likes it.
Mo likes it. This is the Virginia pink or saxifrage that Barb has given me. It'll have a nice pink bloom in the spring. You can't beat caladiums for pops of color either in this border. And then, oh my gosh, the Sea Heart Brunnera. Yep, I will probably continue editing maybe some of this border since I've lived with this little edited area. And I think it'd be nice to just repeat that because under this tree, it is very dark. And from our view, doesn't it give a lot of color, Reg?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
The other thing I've done to mimic the perennial border, and I think we have to do that with our plants. I have had this autumn sedum autumn joy.
Yeah, autumn joy.
Right here. And even though it's a little delayed in color and it stays a little more compact, I think as gardeners, we need to test our plants in different areas. I wanted this time of year so it'll mimic what's in the garden because I have in the sun border, because I have 4 or 5 of the sedum autumn joys in the garden. And this way you'll see that color as you look through here, because this corner you see quickly from the top of the stairs. And so I think we need to take our chances and test ourselves. No different than I have challenged those hostas. They get a whole lot more sun than the ones do in the shade garden, and they are very, very tolerant of it and are doing really well. So the other thing that I love about this garden that doesn't get enough attention is just the walkthrough and the temperature difference. It can be 90 degrees on the deck and you walk down here and it feels like it's dropped 10 degrees. It just stays so nice and cool. So it's a beautiful place to come to, and it makes you breathe a little bit. The other thing that is showing up, I've cut back a little bit on purpose, are the beautiful ostrich ferns so we can see that little door. And I don't know if anyone's in there this morning.
Well, knock on the door.
I'll knock on the door and see if anybody answers.
Oh, wait a minute. They have a ring doorbell.
It won't. They already know I'm out here.
Yeah, they already know.
And then, you know, I like to end the simple little tour with this pot. You just can't beat it. It has done great. And again, this pot, it always gets planted back in.
So the annuals come out and everything else?
The annual comes out. This pot comes out of its pot, goes back into a hole, and I love to reuse it because your eye, it doesn't really detract from this quiet space, but that little pop of color draws your eye in. And then you're left with, like, you know, this view. Come on down here, Reg, and sit down for a minute. Relax. And you can't help but walk down here and not sit in one of those chairs.
This corner planter looks pretty good. What's
it does, doesn't it? Yeah, that's that little annual, they call it a polka dot plant, which I never planted before. I let it do its thing. And the evergreen, I can't think what this is, has done beautiful in this pot. It was given to me. I didn't know if it would make it or not, and it looks really lush. But these little polka dot plants add a little pop of color. Anyway, that's the shade garden, and that's how comfortable I think it feels and looks. And even though it's all green, it just is really making a show right now in this time of year. I wasn't ready to believe that it's middle of August.
It is.
And things are changing too quickly. I don't want it to happen this fast, but I have to have that transition going on up here. And, you know, there's beautiful things happening all season long. And I'm that person. I can see the beauty in it all. Anyhow, I'm going on and on and on, convincing myself that it's okay, that it's almost the middle of August. And I don't know where time has gone. But thanks for watching Gardening on the West Fork. Get out, walk in your shady areas and see those beautiful spots, and maybe do some assessment of what what you can add to it to make it even brighter. So thanks for watching. We'll see you the next time. Hit that bell. We'll see you. Bye.